I'll just go straight into our conversation with Camille, our guest. So just a little bit about Camille. Camille is a property professional at Blacktown Council, living just a short walk away in the beautiful Fairwater community with her two sons, their dog Zion and cat Frosty. Love that. She played a key role in establishing the Fairwater Community Association, where she now serves as president, helping to build Fairwater into a thriving, connected community. Camille is deeply passionate about social equity and community empowerment and believes that true harmony begins with fairness, inclusion, and collaboration. We're thrilled to have you, Camille, with us. Thanks again for joining us and welcome
Thank
to
you. I'm
our
very happy to
session,
be
Camille.
here.
That's great to hear. So I guess I would just like to start by asking you if you could share what inspired you to get involved in community building and eventually become the president of the Fairwater Community Association.
Sure. Well, to be truthful, it was completely accidental. And
Okay.
so what happened was that I was inspired to move to Fairwater because it was a six-star Green Star um, neighbourhood, and that really
Hmm.
appealed to me in terms of its sustainability. But I didn't know anyone here. So when I got here, the developer was running some information sessions. And
Hmm.
so I used to just turn up. And then one of the people that I met was Om. And he said, "Hi, I'm Om." So from that moment on, I got to know him. But so what I found was that when I went to these information centers, I'd just take a few notes. And then I became the minute taker. And then
Hmm.
one day I went along to one of these meetings, and the person who was usually the chair wasn't able to come. So that day I became the chairperson.
Okay.
So this kind of like evolved. So I just sort of took on extra roles, not in a directed or meaningful way, but just it just happened that way.
Mm, mm,
Things sort of evolved that way. And so one of the things that I was really keen about was that when the developer left Fairwater, that
mm.
we would be able to continue as a community. And
Yeah.
so with a group of like-minded people, we set up the Fairwater Community Association,
Hmm.
and that's been running for 2 years now. And
Yeah.
again, by accident, I think I'm
I
the president.
think it was meant to be destiny, I
Who
guess. Thanks for sharing. That's good to know. But I guess, you know, I just would like to move on to my next question. What motivates you to engage at the grassroots level? If you could share a story of grassroots impact in Fairwater that you're particularly proud of.
Yeah, sure. So really, it comes down to self-interest.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so what I was interested in, there was a community herb garden here, and I always wanted to learn how to grow my own food. So
Yeah.
I was interested in that, and so there were a few people who knew how to do that thing. So I thought I'll just go along and
Yeah.
learn from others what I can about growing herbs.
Yes.
And the fantastic thing about that is that people are really willing to share and
Mm,
anxious to share.
mm.
And then you form a little group, there's somebody you can chat to when you go for a walk or whatever. And
Yeah.
so, really, um, I started organizing more catch ups around the herb garden because I thought
Yeah.
it was an important thing to do to keep it healthy and alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I guess things have gone on from there, really, just from that example of working on the community herb garden and
Yeah.
wanting to be part of that and growing another group of
Yeah.
people who are interested in doing that.
No, that's that's so interesting because I mean, I visited the Fairwater myself, when I visited Om's place last time, and it's been a while actually. That was, I found it really fascinating. I mean, that was the first that, I've not seen that sort of anywhere else. And then I was really attracted by that. And then by seeing those beautiful herbs garden, I was like so
Mm.
touched. I love, you know, gardening. I mean, although I mean, I'm not good at gardening, but I really love that. And I think it's a great idea to connect the communities and just getting them engaged. I think that's kudos to yourself, I think, for that initiative. I think I really love that. That's great to hear that. So how do you identify and nurture emerging community leaders? If you can give us an example of how you've done this, that would be great.
hmm So
Hmm.
I think the one thing to really be aware of is that everyone can be a leader.
Yeah.
Just requires the right kind of circumstances and support.
Hmm.
And so I think the thing is that firstly, someone needs to show an interest in a particular thing, and then they need some encouragement.
Yeah.
So I reckon you just give them a job.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
just an
no, I
example of
agree.
that
Yeah.
is a friend of mine, a friend who's become. Um, we used to hold regular cleanup days, and then the person who organised that
Mm,
traditionally wasn't able to do it anymore.
mm,
So this friend of mine, Gopi, he was really interested in the place being kind of neat and clean. So
yeah.
he stepped in, and he's been doing that regularly for a long time. But now his role is to find someone who can
Yeah.
actually organize that particular event on that day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he can step back,
Yeah.
can give support and encouragement to someone else to be a leader.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of um, doing the stuff, finding out what's involved,
Mm,
encouraging people, and then stepping back and allowing
mm.
someone
And
else.
then allow I love that. That is so true, right? So that's I guess true leadership. It's not just in a corporate environment, but we can apply that anywhere, right? And just
Yeah,
like in community settings and even in personal sort of life, I guess it's what's important, like you said, is you just got to identify the potential in people and
yeah,
just let them, I guess, do the work because I mean, it's not to just do the work as in you get them to do the work, but what they're passionate about, right? And then you sit back and watch them really evolve. And yeah,
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
that's yeah, it's important. And I think we need to. It's not always about just you giving not in the community setting, it's not just you doing all the work. And that's what the community building is all about, right? Just that's how the community will grow because everyone needs to contribute. But you just got to, most important, you got to identify the potentials in everybody. And I think that resonates so well with this community group, which is strength-based leadership community, right? Because that's about identifying everybody's strength. Um, yeah, so yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a question from Aruni. Let me just, okay. It just popped up and then it just, where is
Yeah,
it?
I saw the
Did you
question.
see that?
Yeah, I
Yeah. Would
did.
you like
And
to
so,
answer that
yes,
question? Yeah,
so
perhaps. Yeah. Hmm.
Fairwater is based in Blacktown. So it used to be a golf course and has been redeveloped. And there's about 750 or 800 homes here.
Hmm.
So it's fully developed now, and it was developed over about started about 9 years ago. Yeah, and
Oh,
I've
wow.
been here for 7 years.
That's a great question, by the way, Rennie. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know there's 700, did you say 750, eight
Yeah,
hundred homes?
yeah,
Wow.
750 to 800
I didn't think it
households
was
here.
that big,
Hmm.
but it is quite massive. I took a stroll. I mean, I didn't go around everywhere, or around all the blocks, but it is quite massive. I didn't think it were, yeah, that many homes. But
Yeah, and one of the things is that we have smaller blocks of land
hmm.
compared to what traditionally people have in Blacktown,
Mm,
but we have a lot more open space. So,
yeah,
space. So I look out into a park, for example, but
Yes.
I don't have to maintain that park.
Yeah.
Someone else maintains that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get to enjoy the park. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like a little, I don't know. I mean, it's not a little village or yeah, in its own. It just feels like you're in a different sort of place, very different place. And it's
yeah, I
really,
know this is a little
really
off topic,
lovely.
but
Yeah.
I'm a town planner by background as well.
Uh-huh.
So one of the challenges for town planning is always getting the density right. And you know that the state government's talking a lot about density and increasing density.
Yeah.
But with the kind of density we've got, it's basically double what would normally happen in other places in the more traditional parts of Blacktown.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel dense, you know, and it's it just feels really good. It's not just one type of dwelling. I mean, it goes from granny flats up to, I think, the 5-bedroom house, so
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole range. So basically, it gives opportunity for different family groups,
Yeah.
individuals, a whole lot of different people to come and live here
Yeah.
to suit them. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. That's good. Um, yeah, I mean, that's actually ties perfectly into my next question. I mean, do you think everyone in that community has a role in building and strengthening our communities? And if so, why?
Okay. So yes, I think we all can. We can play
Yeah.
a role in strengthening and building our communities. Now we come together because we all live in the same neighborhood,
Mm,
but we have different interests and talents and ideas and skills. And so I think it's really important to put all that to work.
yeah,
Would you just
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So the thing that we share is our location.
Yeah,
We have all these other things that are differences or opportunities to find out
yeah, exactly.
different people and what interests them.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. With that, I guess onto my next question is, especially in a community setting and um when there's like large group of people and large group of communities, I mean, everywhere it comes with its own challenges, right? So what are some of the biggest challenges you faced in establishing particularly the Fairwater as a community of excellence, and how did you overcome them?
Okay. So I think the challenge in is just basically translating what does community of excellence mean to
Mm,
individuals.
mm,
So it can mean something different to everybody.
yeah,
And for example, for me, it's having a community that I feel connected to. It
yeah,
could be a, a mum with a young bub, and it could be having other mums around who can point to the best pediatric services around.
yeah,
Or for a family with school kids, it might be creating, a school pickup and drop off group that you feel comfortable with. So
yeah,
all these different needs that people
needs,
have just
correct.
because of their life stages or interests.
Yeah,
So I think you have to tailor it to what people treasure as excellence.
yeah.
Um, and then how do you find that out? Well, you have to talk to people.
Talk to people. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And find out
And it's not
their
just
needs.
people,
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
listen.
Mm.
And it's always hard to put aside your own interpretation about things and
Yeah.
listen to what the people are telling you. And
Yeah.
I had this very experience myself just in this last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So we've been planning a tree planting day,
Okay.
but what was noted around was that because of the warm weather, there's been some snakes. And so
Oh,
some people in the community are really quite concerned they don't have any experience of snakes and they're
yeah.
concerned about what, might happen.
Yeah.
So, my first thought was, oh, look, they're just part of wildlife, you know. They've always been there. They're no big thing. But then I realized that people were very concerned. So we've done some
Yeah.
further investigation. And so we found out, that snakes really don't like vibrations. So the best way to
Oh.
deal with them is to let them know you're coming. So stomp on the ground and make a noise.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
And
know
any of
that.
the activities we're having, we're making sure that people know to wear, long pants and
Mm,
covered shoes so that there's less likelihood if there was a snake around of them getting bitten. So if we can take
yeah.
all these, we can take these protective approaches
Mm.
and making sure that our community knows about that.
Oh,
So
that's nice. Yeah, like just be prepared and also to know what to do in
yes,
the
and then
event of,
and,
yeah,
and I think the
anything.
key
Yeah.
thing for me was not to say, okay, I'm not worried about that, and assume
Mm,
that no one else will be, because there
yeah.
was concern, and it's about addressing that concern so that people can feel more comfortable.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. Thanks for that. So I guess, like I said, right, I have visited Fairwater a few times
Mm.
previously, right, and I have seen how beautiful it is, and have also heard Om talk so fondly about the community. He always, like, I hear of Fairwater community a lot from his mouth, right? So every time we're having a conversation, whether that's in a professional setting or even like in a family setting, he talks really fondly about community for about Fairwater community. So you must be really so proud to be the inaugural president of the community and leading this amazing community, right? So please tell us how have you all gone about building this community and making it so special? So if you can share, I know I know you said it all happened. And like I said, it was just meant to be, right? We're just
Yeah.
destiny. So if you can share us, all about, how about building this community and yeah, how it's been so special for you.
Okay, so I think it's all in a conversation. That's what it
Mm,
is.
yeah.
Now, I walk around the neighbourhood probably twice a day,
Mm,
quite a long walk. And the reason I do that is because I have a beautiful little dog who needs
yeah.
to go for a walk. He's a Celtic cross, so he needs lots of exercise.
Lovely.
So, and when you have a dog, it's amazing how people feel like, oh, it's easy to talk to you, you know? And so I'm always saying hello to people,
Mm,
waving to people. And it's not that I'm particularly special or anything. It's just that after going around, people kind of know
mm,
me. And so then people feel comfortable about asking a question.
yeah.
I think probably the hardest thing, though, is sometimes there's different languages and
Mm,
everybody has the same language skills. So it's working out how to address that as well.
yeah.
Um, and then we also are very fortunate here at Fairwater in that we have a cafe, which is kind of in the middle. And that's a
Mm,
great place, like a great hub to kind of catch up with people. You get a coffee and then you'll see someone that you know and you have a chat about something. And that's a really great way to kind of get in touch. We also we have meetings on a regular basis where we engage with
yeah.
the community and invite them to come in and let them know what's happening.
Yeah.
And we also represent the community by going to, say, the local council and saying, how about this? How about that? One of the issues we're working on at the moment that's very important to some older people in the community is a bus stop, having a bus stop. So
Mm,
all we've had is some blank walls put up in front of us at the moment, but it's
yeah.
those things that we're continuing to work on for the community.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, I guess if you could also share some, I guess for myself, for me as well, for anyone who's not that familiar with engaging in the community and including myself. I mean, I am as much passionate about, community engagement and community building. I've not been engaged on that level myself, right? And I'd love to be. So if you could also, if you would be able to share some tips as to how, someone like myself or anyone who is very keen to get involved, how we can get involved and also highlight how it benefits them. That would be great. Yeah.
Yep. So the example I'm giving is one of Fairwater, which is about a neighbourhood. It's about where I live.
Yeah.
So I think one of the important things is to take the time to get to know your neighbours, to say
Mm,
hello, to know their names, to be able to stop and have a chat with them. I'm
yeah.
lucky in that I live on it's like a laneway, and
Yeah.
with that, the traffic's very slow moving. People walk around there to their front doors and whatever, and so there's the ability to say hi.
Yeah.
I think that's important. Um, One thing that I think really works is to ask people's advice about something. If you're thinking about something,
Mm,
ask somebody what they think, and you hear really how they might go about it. Like how can we address that there's a lot of rubbish around. How do
yeah.
you think we could do? And then you get someone else's perspective on it. So that's what I've learned is that there's a whole lot of different perspectives, and
Yeah.
sometimes you feel stuck about how to deal with something, and
Yeah.
someone else has a really great idea.
Ideas. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
So,
you. Uh-huh.
and I think the other thing is to find out if people share your interests, you know,
Yeah.
um, to gardening or photography or something. And then we use social media quite a bit, which is both a positive, can be positive and negative, as everyone
Mm,
knows. But generally, I think it's positive um,
mm.
to share and see
Yeah.
interests. And I know that there was a young mums club that was set up recently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just by saying, oh look, I'm a young mum and I want to meet other young mums, how can we do that? And
Mm.
they sort of meet weekly now, so I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. I mean, I love how you said, and it's most important. It's important that we go and talk to people and, ask for ideas and at least just by saying hello, right? I mean, that's a good start,
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's about just overcoming that fear of, you know, because sometimes not everyone is extrovert. Like, it's more like you just have to go and say hello, and that's how you start building that connection with people. And once people feel comfortable and I think then that's when then you keep and then you ask for
Yeah,
ideas
yeah.
and share ideas and yeah, so
That's right.
I
And,
mean,
and this is coming
mhm,
from, I'm not an extrovert, I'm quite introverted.
mm,
So I have to sometimes push myself to
yeah,
say hello, but
yeah,
actually it is worthwhile to do it. Like the benefits you get, like I feel much more connected in this community than I
mm,
have and since I was a child, basically,
yeah.
a long time ago. Um, but the other things I've got out of it is that I have purpose. So,
Mm,
I feel like I need to do these things for my community. And if I'm not there doing them, who would be?
yeah, yeah,
Um, and then I sign up to do things by agreed dates. So I have to organize myself to make sure that I do those things. So that's another
mm,
benefit, keeping myself organized.
yeah,
And there's also keeping myself accountable. So
yeah,
I said I'd do this by the next meeting, and I need to do that by the next meeting,
mm.
otherwise things will slip. So if I'm going to hold others to account, I need to hold myself to account.
Myself accountable. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I think is that it's wonderful that I'm not doing this on my own.
Mm,
There are all these other people who are willing and excited and interested, and sometimes we get a bit overwhelmed, but most of the time, we,
yeah,
yep, if someone's feeling like, oh, I don't think we can do this, there's someone else who go, well, why don't we try something else?
yeah, yeah.
So
That's
there's a
great.
positive vibe.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all those tips. That's
Mm,
great to know. I guess, I mean, just moving on from that, I think you said there's a Facebook group as well. And I was going to ask, what other ways do you get people together, right? I mean, it's a 700 and plus homes in that Fairwater community, right? How do you get people together? I understand you walk around, you talk to people, and we talked a little bit about challenges, right? I'm sure there's lots of challenges that you encounter, especially in terms of how to get people together, and even talking from even today's live session, I mean, perhaps we had some technical issues because of that. We had few people registered, right? But despite that, we didn't have everyone turn up, right? Which is
mm,
okay. It happens, right?
yep,
It's also a challenge, right? But at the same time, I mean, it's then we just have to keep going, right?
yep,
If
sure.
you can share, I mean, any sort of examples. So how do you overcome sort of those, or how do you get people um, together just to help us really? I mean, we are starting this community
Well,
group as well, right? And we are doing everything. It's like community building for us as well, right? And we're focusing on the strength, people's strength, and we want to get everyone together. But obviously, there will be challenges. It would be helpful if you can share some advice or any sort of, again, more tips on that.
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess one of the things is that there are a lot of people who don't have very much time. They've
Mm,
got their lives all organized, and I'm one of those people too. I've got all this stuff happening in my life that I've
mm,
got to keep up with. So
yeah,
it's
agree.
like, how do you make that important in people's lives? So one thing is about being organized.
Mm,
So when we're having meetings, to make sure that we give people enough notice. So
mm,
that's just a fairly basic thing.
mm,
Um, and we don't always do that as well as we could.
yeah,
But that's one of the things. Another one, I suppose, is really picking on the things that will make a difference for that person. So,
yeah,
for example, one guy that's been kind of circling our group for a while and wanting to get interested in, we've actually given him a job. So we gave him
right.
the job of organising the tree planting event.
Mm,
And
mm,
so while we've got people experienced in doing that, it's much better to give it to someone who hasn't done it and
yeah,
to let their interest and grow with it and provide support when we have to. And so I think that's been a really positive thing to do. So um, finding people's passion
yeah,
important and like leveraging off that because
yeah,
people there's so many things that people could be doing,
mm,
but you want to be able to get them focused really on what can they do for the community.
yeah,
And
yeah,
as I said, there's so many benefits that people get out of that that sense of connectedness and purposefulness and um, support, just feeling
yeah,
supported. So
being supported. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's important is that you finding that purpose, is sticking by that. I mean, and then just keep delivering that message. And like you said, identifying the potential in people and giving them the opportunity, right? Even
mm,
if they've not done it before, but just allow them to at least participate or yeah, and just keep, do allow them to just do what they can. So it's an opportunity and giving
yeah,
that
and
platform, right?
I think that's a lot of people get concerned about being on committees or whatever because they think, oh,
Mm,
I have to do so much work. But really, if you can kind of break it up to, okay, how about you do one thing? You
yeah,
and they're
yeah,
happy to do this one thing on this one day.
yeah,
And they realize, oh, it's not too hard. I could probably do it again.
correct. Yeah,
So,
exactly. You just have to start,
yeah,
then that will give them confidence to
yeah,
do it again, right? The next time. But again, I think for us, I mean, that's what I'm more passionate about it, just allowing people, and as a life coach myself, I just guide people and to really give it their best and finding that confidence in themselves. And then you'll be surprised that, even like it happens to myself as well. So I just do it once, then I get surprised that, oh, I actually have this much potential. I can actually do it, right?
Yeah.
And then you just do it again and again, right? So yeah, that's awesome. So thanks for that, Camille. So I'll just like to, oh, we've got someone new, Gulnaz. Welcome to the session. You're on mute, by the way. That's all right. We're already about 15 minutes into the session, but we had some technical issues, so we didn't start until the 20 minutes past 12. So we just finished our conversation with our beautiful guest, Camille. So we just like to invite our participants in the session to ask any questions that you may have for Camille.
Thanks, Camille. That was really good to see how you have built up that. So do you meet regularly? How does that happen, and how do people know as to when the meeting?
Yes. So we do meet regularly. We meet on a monthly basis, and we last year we had probably a better organised. We always met on the first Monday of the month at a particular time. And then some of the committee felt, oh, it's a bit rigid. But I think it works better that way, because otherwise, at least it goes into everybody's diaries and they know. So that's the committee. And what we did this year was to open up our committee meetings to everybody, because there were people who joined our association and then they said, but how do you decide things? When do things happen? So we thought we don't have to have just a committee meeting. We could have everybody come to the meeting, because really it's about participation. So we don't want a little group of 6 or 8 people kind of making all the decisions and then spitting that out. What we want is people coming in and saying, oh, I think it'd be really good if we did this or that, So getting some feedback from people and getting them to put up their hands about what they think is important, and even taking on different roles.
So you mentioned the cafe. So do you do things like social events as well? I know you mentioned tree planting day.
Yep.
Do you do other stuff too?
We do, yes. So we've last year we had what's called the Fair Olympics. So it was timed for when the Olympics were on, and we had a whole day of sporting activities. So they range for things for little kids up to seniors, things that people could do. So we had a marathon, which was kind of like 3 laps of the place. We had egg and spoon races. We had sack races. We had lots of different things, and running races, and it was just fantastic. Whole day out doing that. It was the coldest day of the year, I might add. It was in July. We had people got medals. It was really fantastic. So did we have the other thing that we have quite often is we'll have a barbecue. So that's usually towards the end of the year. We have had in the past where people bring their own kind of food along from different, people have different ethnic backgrounds, so they can bring, but that's a bit harder now because of COVID, the changes that have happened. So we usually do a barbecue now, and that seems to be very popular.
So just to find out, how do you fund yourselves? So you
Yes.
obviously do have a meeting venue. How do you fund yourself?
Yes. So there's a couple of things. So yes, funding is really important. And then we're turning our heads to how we can actually get more money. So what we do have offer a subscription to people. So they pay like between $25 and $50 a year to join. We get donations from people, so we might be having like an Easter egg event, and someone will say, oh, I'll pay for the Easter eggs this year, which might be a couple of $100s. When we did start, we were able to get some funds from the developer, and we said, so they gave us a few $1,000s to start things off. But we are in the position now where we need to get additional funding. Otherwise, we'll run out of money and we won't be able to run all the activities that we want to. In terms of where we meet, so we meet basically in what used to be the sales centre, which is attached to the cafe. When the developer was leaving, they were just going to take that building. And so the community lobbied council to say, keep it, please keep it, because we need somewhere to meet. And so we're currently doing that. Council has now taken over ownership of that building, and they're in the process of working out how we can have shared use of that space overall. But it does make a huge difference having somewhere to meet. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
Awesome. Thanks, Aruni. Some great questions there. Yeah, that's awesome. Anyone else want to ask any question? No, I guess. I mean, we usually go into breakout rooms depending on the number of participants we have, and we pick a question relevant to the topic for the session and we discuss that. So given we don't have many people in this session, we can discuss. It was around the topic, the question that I have, and we touched a little bit earlier already, Camille, about challenges in a community group or community setting, right? So perhaps, the question was, what's one challenge in your community? This is for everyone in the group. What's one challenge in your community you'd like to help turn into a positive change? Right. So I wanted, everyone to brainstorm that, have a think about any challenges that you've seen or you've come across in your community that you'd like to see change, into a positive, turn into a positive change.
Yeah, well, I can think of one is that
Yeah.
we have roads, obviously, and people like to speed through
Right.
those roads. And, we find that really difficult to manage. I mean, most of like if you're a local there, it's like, oh, why does everyone have to go so fast?
Yeah.
And, so we're a bit stuck there. We've sought the help of council, and putting speed bumps in or, to slow down the traffic, but we haven't had any luck yet. So that's one of the things that I'd like to change, so that people became more aware that, this is a place you need to go slowly in rather than really fast. Because people have, their dogs and cats have been run over and whatever.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Anyone else want to share?
So I think she answered my question was this, because I work with community, but one of the biggest problems they have is they have goodwill and they have good intentions, but just trying to find funding for projects. That's been the hardest for them. So, I don't think it's an easy fix, but you have been very lucky if the developers gave you some cash to start off with, which would have been very useful.
Yes. So that was
always,
obviously we need insurance to run our events, and we also needed a web page. So hosting the web page and all that kind of stuff was important to get some funding, and just running an event. So we work out it costs about $1,200 to run an event. If we're feeding people, so you need to have money to do that.
That's great. I guess for myself, like I said earlier, I'm not really actively involved in an actual community, setting. Um, I guess this is probably would be my first one, right? So I guess the
Mm,
challenge here is just getting people engaged. I probably would like to see how we can empower. I mean, we have about 77 members in this community group now.
mm,
Is perhaps because it's early days for us as well, right? So obviously there's going to be lots more challenges, but Oimdai and myself, we have a big vision, right? We want to see this community group like evolving and growing and as the name suggests, we want everyone in in this community group, all of our members to be participating actively and really showcasing their strengths. So I would really like to see, I mean, there's challenges like even this one in how we can get people to engage more. I would like to see that turn into a positive thing. And I'm very positive about it, but I
mm.
guess currently it is a challenge for us, and I feel personally. But I also I believe that we will overcome it eventually, sooner or later. But we just have to keep going, right? But I would love to see that really change into a positive thing, right? As a positive change. So
Mm.
that's
I think one
that's
of the things
mine.
that you've said is really important, which is you've
Mm,
got a big vision.
yeah,
Being able to communicate that vision with other people so
yeah,
they know, and then finding out what that might mean for them.
yeah,
It's a really important thing. But having the big vision, I think, is like knowing what you're about, basically. That's what it is.
yeah,
And
yeah.
if you can communicate that well and then
Mm,
listen,
mm,
what comes back? What does that mean
yeah,
for somebody else? Can they
mm,
see themselves in that?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, agree. I mean, look, I mean, OIM started this, right? And we happen to sort of, I mean, we've known each other for many, many, many years. But it just happened that we happened to just talk about something else, and or mention about this, and I had my similar sort of setting because me myself being a life coach, I was doing separately, not in completely like this sort of setup. So we thought, all right, let's just work together. It's because we have the common interest in serving the community, right? And really bringing the best out of them. So that's how we started off this. And I guess even with Owen being away, he's on leave. So we thought, we got to keep going. We cannot stop this. And we said we're going to keep running these sessions every fortnightly from 12 to 1.
Yeah.
So, and that's how we've started doing this, right? We keep doing no matter what, right? So, and that's one of the things I think is as well is just finding out. I mean, you got to set some rules and some boundaries as well in place. And I think that always helps. And it's a little reminder for ourselves as well is that okay, we formed this for a reason, and we can't let anything stop. Um, whatever we're doing, right?
Mm.
And myself as I mean, I work full time, and I'm doing that as well. And I've committed this time. I've committed fortnightly for this, right? So I make sure that I do this. I attend this no matter what. Surely I may not. I try and, like you said, be organized. Sometimes life gets in the way and you cannot always be prepared. And so was the case in today's session, if I have to be absolutely honest, right? I didn't get to prepare everything, but I knew that I just had to show up and just be myself.
Mm.
And all I had to know is I have a guest, I have people, and they're just human beings, and we're just gonna just have a normal conversation, right?
Yeah.
So what's important is just showing up and just I think once you're committed, just be there, and I think we'll just flow through, right? And not, I mean, you may not be perfect this time, but with more practice, I mean, this is our fourth session, live session, but I'm sure, like, and I'd like to look back maybe 20 sessions later and go, oh, this is how we started. Look where we are now, right?
Mm.
We're so much better now. I mean, but what defines the better? I don't know, but I guess it's just how you look at it, perhaps as well. So
Yeah, and if there's just one thing that
yeah,
resonates with somebody during a
mm,
session, that's
mm,
fabulous, you know. So
yeah.
it's really good, and I've really enjoyed the conversation today.